Alright guys, welcome back. So we want to talk about the Cardano Vasil hard fork. There's a lot of news about the Ethereum merge, but there's really not as much compared when it comes to Cardano hard fork, and it comes a week after the Ethereum merge. Now, the question we might all be asking is, should I buy into Cardano prior to the Vasil hard fork? And we're gonna talk about that because there's a lot of factors factoring into this, especially with the macroeconomics, and we're gonna take a look at the charts to see what I find so scary about Cardano right now. So if you're a Cardano holder, if you're staking Cardano or anything like that, please be sure to watch through this entire video because it's going to be very informative. But before we get going, please do me a favor by smashing that like and subscribe button because we need that to be done to help this YouTube algorithm push this video out more and more people who need to see it. Other than that, once you've got that done, let's jump right in. So the Cardano's Vasil hard fork is also scheduled to go live this month on September 22, just a week after Ethereum transitions to proof of stake consensus mechanism. That's what I said earlier. But what is the Vasil hard fork? So the fork is a means to improve network capacity and lower transaction costs. It is also meant to make the network more developer friendly in a bid to overtake Ethereum as the preferred blockchain for smart contracts and dApps. So three of the more critical improvement proposals of Vasil hard fork are CIP 33, 31, and 32. So here's what you need to know. Apps built on Cardano are written in a programming language known as Haskell, and this code is converted into Plutus, which is the native smart contract language for Cardano. However, the Plutus script is not stored on the blockchain. Therefore, every time a transaction is made, it needs to carry all the app logic along with it. More data with the transaction results in slowed performance and increased costs. Basically, when it comes to Cardano, the smart contract scripts aren't stored on the blockchain like Ethereum, right? If you go to Etherscan, you could see the smart contracts, but that's not the case with Cardano. So every time a transaction is made, we need to go and send the whole entire script. That makes things slow and expensive. Now, CIP 33 makes it so that instead of taking the whole script with us, we have something called a reference script. And this reference script can be used instead of sending the whole entire script with the transaction. This makes things much faster and less expensive, otherwise cheap. On the other hand, that's CIP 33. CIP 31 introduces a new feature where users can basically look up an output of something without processing them. If we put in an input, we process them, we get an output. So now with this CIP 31, they don't need to do the processing. They can just put in input and get an output. The best analogy I have here is, remember back in high school when you were in math class, what happened when they gave you problems is you could either do the problems, right? Or you could look at the back of the book to get the output. So that's the best analogy I have for this. And the last one is CIP 32, which frankly introduces on-chain data storage, which it's pretty cool actually. But we'll have to see how much data they allow because data storage on blockchains are quite expensive. So I think for retail, one of the biggest questions would probably be, will Cardano break $1? So, ADA has hit a high of $3.10 before, but this is the different environment that we're in. The possibility of the price of ADA touching $1 remains slim in this article. The digital asset would have to do a 100% growth from here to reach this price point. Given the current market trends, there is not enough momentum for it to reach this level. A more attainable price point is set at 60 cents, depending on how investor sentiments turn out at this point, but there would need to be a significant buy pressure to be able to push ADA to reach this point in the next 2 weeks. So I highly agree with this outlook. If you take a look at the world around us, if you take a look at Europe, go on Twitter, you see some interesting things with crowds, mobs doing demonstrations because of the rising cost of basically everything. Inflation is sky high. We have central banks around the world trying to raise rates to calm inflation, which they're not doing a very good job of, and we don't know if they can succeed in that job. So things are really at a scary time, and we have the dollar rising like crazy. The dollar against all other currencies, it's a really, really strong dollar, and when the dollar goes up, generally all assets like stocks, crypto, they go down. So we have to fight that as well. So there's a lot of macro factors right now, which quite frankly kills the price of Bitcoin and all other altcoins, and ADA is considered an altcoin. Follow the price of Bitcoin. That's generally the general rule of thumb. Quick pause. So if you want to know where I keep my Cardano securely, I keep them in my ledger because cold storage is the safest place to keep your assets now in a bear market. We don't know which exchanges are actually insolvent. So I keep everything right now in my ledger. Second thing I want to mention is that I recently started a Patreon. If you want to check it out here. Basically what I'm going to cover there is I'm going to do weekly calls covering the markets, covering technical analysis. If you want to take a dip into technical analysis, that's probably your cheapest way, because for my own group, I pay around $175 to learn technical analysis from the masters. So if you want a taste of that, then that Patreon that I started is going to be much cheaper. So check that out. So with that said, let's turn and take a look at the charts to see what our technical analysis tells us. So right now we're at ADA, it's trading at 49 cents, and I'm just going to be straight up with you that I am not looking to buy ADA for until the rest of 2022, even maybe the rest of 2023. Because what's happening right now is we saw this huge giant run of ADA, Cardano, right? And it really jumped up to the all-time high of $3.10, and now it retraced back to this area of around 49 cents, right? So I would say between 60 cents and 49 cents, which is what it's playing at now. And I'm going to teach you something about imbalances. So this is an imbalance where it just runs straight up, straight green, no red, no chop. This is chop. When it's chopping in between for a number of times, that's price action. We want to see that, right? Those are safer zones. And when we're talking about price action for the next level, this here is where I see price action. This is where I have that green bar. So if you want to buy Cardano, a good buy is between 33 cents and 39 cents. What's scary is that this price action here, this chop didn't last that long. So if it actually breaks the under 33 cents, then that's dangerous, because what do we see after that? We see another huge imbalance here. And you could see from the example here that over here, when it broke 95 cents, over here, it just tanked all the way down to where the price is now. That's because of this big imbalance here. So it has to fill that in, which is, it's trying to do that now because it's playing within this zone and imbalance. There's price action. So it's trying to say that, yeah, we're worth that price. But there's not that much imbalance, or there's price action here, but it didn't last that long. So if we go under, it is very easy for it to break 33 and drop all the way down to 13 cents. That's the scary part. And with everything going on in the world right now, with governments raising rates and with Bitcoin falling under $20,000 this week, there's a lot of downward pressure on the price of Cardano. So if you think that Cardano is going to go up to $1, that is very, very slim. I don't think that's going to happen. I think actually there's going to be more downward pressure on the price of Cardano. So us seeing a 20-cent Cardano, maybe even falling to the 13-cent Cardano mark, I really do see that happening. Maybe there's like a 80% probability of that happening, depending on where we go. Because the big dip, how I see it, the big dip has not happened yet. The blood on the streets, if you think the sea of red that we've been seeing is bad, I don't think that's as bad as what's going to come next. But that's my own opinion. What's your opinion? Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, please share this video with someone who thinks needs it, another Cardano holder maybe. And don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button if you've enjoyed this video, if you learned something. Otherwise, check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies, passive income, Cardano. And remember guys, continue working, continue building, continue inspiring. I'll see you next time.